Welcome back to the Way Below Deck YouTube channel. Gonna be trying something new today. Doing a little onboard narration. We're down in Dana Point Harbor today. You can see I've got all my tools loaded up. Making my way down one of the old docks, held together by plywood. To a Cabo Express. One of the clients asked me to cut some holes in the hardtop they have here. First I gotta get the morning moisture off. So you guys are gonna get basically the full experience of what it's like to go through this. Of course we're gonna do some time lapses and speed things up, just so you don't have to sit through everything. Don't want to be here for 6 hours, but you guys get the fast version. This is what we're looking at putting in the roof. These are the Taco Marine Grand Slam 80s, I believe, for the 1.5-inch outriggers. And you need a little bit larger hole than the actual outrigger itself, just to give it some room to turn. You can see that base down there that rotates. That's what turns your outrigger. And then we also have a bottom cover plate just to make it look nice and sealed up. We won't have any raw cut fiberglass exposed, any bolts exposed. Gonna start doing the layout. Just put down some blue tape. Try to take a measurement as balanced as I can off of each side. There's not much level or equal on boats, so you really have to do the best you can to try to get things precision straight. Outriggers in particular, because they extend so far out, if they're not balanced and they don't line up well, they'll look funny. They'll look very cockeyed, and just, you'll be able to tell very quickly if they're crooked. So take a little mark off the outside edge there, put one just at 12 inches in, and draw myself a line at 12 inches off the frame of the boat there. So now I at least have a starting point, and I can do that on the other side as well. So I'll have what seems to be a good idea of where these are going to end up. And then from there we're going to trace out that bottom plate. We'll add our hole pattern. I would say this is arguably the most important part of the entire job. Would be making sure that the layout is perfect. You know, get a good visual on where everything's going to end up, how it's going to be able to flip and turn. What are your tolerances? Can everything rotate without any interference? Is there electrical in the hardtop? You can see there's lights. There's also a radar up top, antennas. There's just a lot of things to consider when you're lining up large penetration like this that combines with the through bolt pattern. You're spreading out, you're reaching out like maybe 6 inches with the whole pattern overall, not to mention the 3 1/4 to 3.5 inch hole saw cut that we're going to be making on each side. So we want to get it right twice. Measure twice, cut once. And if we need to make any adjustments, it's always better to err on the safe side. And I believe I ended up adjusting it by 1/2 inch from my original layout here, because I was nervous about the handle hitting the supports leading up to the tower there, soon to be tower. We're going to be placing these outriggers as aft as possible, so as far back on the overhead as possible. Keep them as far outboard as possible, within reason of operation and headspace. So you have to consider all of the things that are installed on the boat as parameters, as well as the safety of where people are sitting and where they're going to be standing and moving about while the boat is operating, because you're going to have the outrigger handle now in your headspace. So we're going to keep it out of that, put it outboard and aft keeps us closest to the cockpit, where the deckhand can easily operate the outrigger, pulling the jigs in and out, managing the clips. So you can see we've got the first drill going through the hardtop. Start small, starting out with an 8-inch drill bit, trying to get lined up as best as possible. And things aren't necessarily square or balanced. So using the small drill bit allows forgiveness as I step up to a 3/16, which is also one shy of the pilot bit for the hole saw. So the pilot bit will still have a grip as the hole saw begins its cut. Make my way up here, and we're gonna complete the second half of the cut. Make sure we don't lose any of that dust. My handy dandy shop vac. The inside of that hole is going to be exposed. We'll be sealing that up with some adhesive, but for now we're going to mock up the outrigger, get a visual. Got our foam core here. Let's see the fiberglass layers. I always like to save any large cutouts if I ever make big holes in fiberglass, or if I cut a plate, I'll save that piece. You never know when you're going to need it. Feels like a classic dad expression there. Just saving a random piece of fiberglass, but I tell ya, I've plugged a lot of holes and made a lot of cover plates with old pieces of fiberglass. We've stepped our way up to the bolt size. And this is just the beginning. The bolts will actually be getting a sleeve, a composite sleeve. So we're going to be stepping up from the bolt size larger. But for now, we're going to make sure that our alignment is staying perfect. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Don't want to rush into drilling too big of holes. I mean, you could do it, but we're going to do it the right way. You could blow out a way bigger hole and just glue in your sleeves and put the bolts in. But we're going precision fabrication. That's our goal here. So there's some fiberglass on the top end here. Since I drilled up from the bottom, and I didn't actually drill down from the top yet, there's just a little bit more that needs cleaning out on those inboard bolts. Do my best to keep the tools off the paint job. No scratches. Only the ones that we mean to make. Okay. So now we've got our holes all reamed out. The bolts will fit in there snug. And then once more, we're gonna remove all of that. We're gonna step up to our sleeve side. Just admiring the scenery. So step off this ledge. always got to make sure that the plate is going to go on the bolts. And here we are stepping up one more time to the size of that composite sleeve. Just trimming off little pieces. Tap them in with a hammer. They pretty much all stayed locked in there once I tapped them in. I think I had one pop out when I pushed the bolt through, just because I had pinched the end shut a little bit when I cut it. And here you can see I'm sealing up the inside of that exposed foam and fiberglass material using some marine sealant. UV resistant, so no yellowing. There's actually another section of this boat that we're going to be replacing the sealant on because of that in the near future. So we'll let that dry for a little bit. Luckily, you guys don't have to wait around. But in the meantime, do the other side. Got my handy dandy goggles on. Taking fiberglass dust to the face. Stepping up in drill size until we reach the hole saw pilot bit size. Double checking, making sure we're not gonna make any mistakes. Measure twice, cut once, at least. Here we are, just containing that dust. It's nice to see the clouds passing by. I definitely don't notice it while I'm working, so it's cool to see this perspective. I wish I could work this fast in real life. I like to think this is how people imagine jobs going when they say, oh, you just got to drill a couple of holes. And it's like they picture it going this fast in real life. Here we are. Stash the trash. Different angles of our glorious prep work. Be prepared or be prepared to fail. Even with the leaf blower, it's still beautiful. local marine life cheering me on. So we lay down a bed of some marine sealant just to keep all our penetrations waterproof. And once we squeeze down these bolts, we'll come back up and we'll smooth out the edges of that sealant and give us a nice seam. So we've got a nice sandwich here on the hard top. The outrigger is very secure. Let us clean up the edges using denatured alcohol. Not quite the flawless, satisfying tape reveal we were looking for, but pretty close. We're gonna do one more wipe around the perimeter just to remove that tape edge. So it should look flush at this point and no longer any seam. Time to install the handle. This is a big moment here because the handle was most of our clearance. The fact that it needs to rotate 360 safely, efficiently. This was satisfying to see that everything is going to fit and function. A couple of set screws. For the test. And we successfully have rotation. You can see the crank is to lift the outriggers up and down, and the handle compresses or pull it down for the rotation. And these will go all around. I believe it's like 20 something degree increments just to avoid the unwanted movement if you were underway and you want to extend or retract the outriggers. You don't want to lose control of those things. I mean, these are really light. These are new. So these are some of the lightest outriggers, but when you have jigs on those things and they're all rigged up, they might be under tension. You don't want them swinging uncontrollably. So I really like the design of these Taco Marine outriggers. So we got our bed of sealant. Slide it up under the bolts. Get a couple to hold it on. And then we'll tighten them down. Once again, we'll come back up. Clean up the sealant around the edges. Pull our tape. One final swoop. There you have it. A couple of mounts, but we're not quite finished yet. Time to install the other handle. Just a couple of size 2 Allen key set screws. Testing the function. Put a nice little ring of sealant around the bottom as well. You can see up close what that looks like as a finished product. And these actually flip up for storage, which is nice. Keep the handles out of the way. Decided to crank them up and see how balanced we are. This is the big moment where the rigger's fully extended and you tell me. I feel like it looks pretty good. I think we did a good job. And Taco Marine definitely makes a great product, so that helps a lot. If you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more, click the like button, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.